Looks like we might push lower. Yep. Not fun on days like today. Not in the latter half of the day, but that's why the early bird gets the worm, right? It's too late. Now we know that that's you, the rapper. That's it, Becky. You're the rapper. And ding, 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 there's your bell.
watch the same kind of information that I am going to chat about with you guys today. And so I was thinking about what to talk about. Obviously, you guys have heard that I host the podcast Market Mamas, and that basically is structured around market psychology because, in my experience, once I got a good grasp on technical analysis, then I had to figure out why I was still losing. And if I felt like I understood some things and could take a good trade, and it was psychology, was experience of where I needed to put my energy. Mindsets that served me and mindsets that were to my detriment that I needed to figure out how to stop misbehaving with. And so I have really spent a lot of time, um, Rebecca's thing, a lot of time figuring out where I need to put my energy and how I needed to adjust my whole situation with having better outcomes. And so, what I was thinking today we would talk about is I kind of narrowed it down and separated out different mindsets that are do think and have found for myself as well that successful traders tend to cultivate specific mindsets that allow them to operate consistently in a high pressure, fast moving environment, which is definitely day trading, right? To have that high pressure situation where we need to be able to keep our cool and execute per our system and not give in to negative energies that could really derail us. And so today I kind of broke it into 10 different mindsets and then kind of the way that I have adapted them into my own personal trading journey and how I can make them actionable into like really locking into getting my best outcomes. So, can you guys see my screen? Because it says that it paused the screen.
You're good, Becky. We
Okay,
can see
sweet.
it. It might pause on your end because if you're using resources, it will stop the show on yours, but we can still see it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so this is how I broke down the different mindsets that I wanted to talk about specifically today. And there is some crossover in some of them, but there's enough independence within them that I wanted to keep them separate. So we're just going to kind of go through all 10 of these, and we got to start with the biggie, right? It's the D word in trading, which is discipline, as we all know. But it kind of has to be mentioned in any conversation about trading outcomes because you have to be able to survive. And survival as a trader means like account preservation, following your rules, and the ability to, be safe with your execution so that you can be a long-term trader. It's foundational for success. And so I think that it can be said that all great traders will prioritize capital and account preservations above all else, above being right and any kind of other external energy. You have to be able to have an account to trade with in order to ever be profitable. And so define trading plans, risk management rules, and setups are a key trade system, but they're only as good as your ability and decision to stick with them, to know that you have to be able to honor that situation, those choices when the money's on the line, when the trade is in play. That is what is the game changer at the core of trading. And so, what that looks like in practice is using proper position sizing, cutting your losses quickly, never risking too much on any single trade. And so, that you have to develop over time with your own style. Ideally, if you're a newer trader, you've got to start smaller until you really understand what your setups are looking like. So that's part of it too, is knowing where you're at on your trading journey and then sizing appropriately to your skill and experience level. And then there's the obvious too, following your stop loss and taking your profits as planned, because sometimes things like FOMO or greed or revenge can get in there, and they can. If your best trading setup would have worked had you honored your take profit and your stop loss management, and you allow that to go red on you because you're not trading logically anymore, you're trading emotionally, that is a lack of discipline, right? That's impulsive trading, which is giving into those emotions instead of your set system that you have back tested. And so I do have to give props because certain prop firms, such as Blue Sky, right, they offer within their system daily risk parameters to help you cultivate the strong behaviors. And I would say that if you're newer to trading, it's easier to be impulsive and to want more and to get edgy and get nervous in a trade and manage it and monkey around with your outcomes. And so if you're with a company such as Blue Sky and you can set a daily loss limit and a daily target based on your goals with that prop account, use those because they help teach you success habits. Like it's a hard stop. It's like a teacher standing over you and slaps your hand, or it's the end of the time's up for a certain test. You just can't execute further. that's a physical impediment to you allowing yourself to emotionally trade. And so that's a benefit that you can use trading with a company like Blue Sky. And then lastly, on this discipline, I do have to say that discipline choices off the charts as a person will also really help you strengthen your identity as a person who honors your rules and intentions, such as, you want to go to bed on time, you want to turn off your screens an hour before bedtime so you can kind of shut down your brain, you want to exercise or walk every day. If you're the person who honors those intentions for your life and who you want to be and how you want to act and the balance you want to have, that will often cross over into your trading in terms of I always honor my stop loss and I always go to bed on time and I prioritize water over tequila, let's say. These are things that shape how you approach everything, and it will help you be a more stable trader, having increased discipline off the charts. No one is perfect. I mean, we're all humans, but I do think that is a factor that I definitely had to lock into as well. If I'm going to be a disciplined trader, I should also try and be a disciplined person most of the time. And so then we talk about gratitude. And I have to tell you guys, some people in the stream today know me better than others, but this is like my favorite emotion and experience and approach to life because it's really served me. And so what I've found that gratitude will shift your perspective from negative to positive. It will boost your overall sense of well-being and happiness and peace. And that sort of energy, it's powerful because it strengthens your resilience. You can recognize that if something bad happens, it doesn't mean that day is bad. Your life is bad. Water over tequila. Toxic fear and negativity, that's the worst. Like conversely, comparatively, right? Those will lead you down the path quicker to anger and tilt and jealousy and stress, or sleep and coping skills, and generally less healthy relationships. And so all of that, if you allow negativity to take up too much space in your brain, in your life, that absolutely spills over into trading. I think a lot of people will talk about, you don't want to have a fight with your spouse or someone important to you and then go into your office, close the door, and think you can execute a successful trade, because that's an energy that if it gets into you, it impacts everything, especially the way you execute trades. However, if you can focus on the energy of gratitude, it's so much better. I don't know. I hope most of you know what I'm talking about with this energy, because it's such a calm, peaceful view of your life and the events that are taking place. And so if you can focus on a positive, stable, abundant experience for this life, it makes you more resilient and stronger and more peaceful. Difficult situations, you can handle them better and bounce back quicker. It's just basically, like you have a hard trade, you're stopped out, your daily loss was hit. There's a moment where you want to say all kinds of colorful language, and I think that's fine too. I actually have quite a sailor's mouth sometimes. But the outcome is it happened, my account is safe, I had my locks in place. I'm kind of pissed off, but I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to find another trade tomorrow. I'm going to go out and get some fresh air and do something with my kids or whatever. And then once I can turn and walk away, all of a sudden I can focus on like the beautiful sunshine, and I need my sunglasses for the walk. And then it just automatically starts lifting. The sooner you can focus on the things you're grateful for, even in the setting of a -1 outcome, that's a silver lining and you just move on quicker. So yeah, it seems like you guys get it too. Never trade against the wife being mad at you. Yeah, you got to manage those personal relationships, man. That crosses over legit. And I think a lot of us here are day traders. I think this adaptability and flexibility is slightly different for swing traders and long-term investors. But for day traders, I think that adaptability and flexibility is a mindset that is super important to embrace, because, I mean, the markets are very dynamic, both like on a macro level, but then also intraday. And that being said, strategies that work today, they might not work tomorrow in different conditions, different market contexts. You're going to get different setups each day. And so you can't kind of hold on to one or two things and shut everything else out, because it's kind of dangerous to be really just stuck on a certain thing. And then also when you get into a trade setup that looked really good when you entered it, and you get in, you feel good, you feel positive, this is my A+ setup, it doesn't have to work. Like it can start hesitating, it can start going the opposite direction. Maybe your stop loss isn't hit, but your target isn't hit either, and it's hesitating, it's monkeying around. You might find that more data is presenting that says this is not as amazing of a setup as I initially thought it would be. And so instead of like being really hooked on that, if you can be flexible and open to more information presenting and maybe cut that loss even before your stop is hit, that can be a really smart trading decision. And you can't get there if you're just really fixated on that trade, but you can if you're flexible to remain open to what information is presenting in front of you. And so in practice, that will look like adjusting to changing volatility or news if there is a more impactful tweet, for example, or market structure starts shifting. And so you want to stay present in that information or those opportunities, but not necessarily give up on your edge, right? So if this system, if this one trade setup that you got in on works 8 times out of 10 and it's failing you now, sometimes you just got to call it. Like, let it fail, cut your loss, lick your wounds, and don't lose the edge, though, because if that is a consistently profitable trade setup for you that just had a one-off, that is another part of flexibility, of recognizing that nothing is perfect. But I think staying curious to the information that is being presented to you, is available to you in your life as a trader and on the charts, is really powerful, because if you are open to that and say your best setup does fail, in that situation, you can be open to refining your approach as you learn more and waiting to see, maybe why this one failed and what was different about this day, and then factor that into your trade setup for the next time to consider in the back of your mind, when it did this at one time, it looked like this, and there was this catalyst, so I'm going to watch for that as a potential at another point. And so that even makes your strategy even stronger. And I do love, marriage is to each their own with that. I'm happily married, but I am never married to a trade. I'm going to tell you that. I am open to the opportunities of Miss Market, and if it looks good, it looks good, and if it doesn't, I'm out. And I think that is a sign of flexibility and adaptability on the charts, because I think it's capital preservation, right? To cut your losses and don't hold that, because you don't need to hold a loser, because there's just too much opportunity in the market. If you're patient and you can wait and see what more information you can get to maybe make a better trade plan. Okay, so this one I love, because there's a little bit of egos sometimes in the market. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but confidence, but without the ego, is a fine balance sometimes to figure that out. But I think it's so valuable. I would say that you have to have conviction to execute. You have to be able to have some strength as a trader to pull the trigger and not hesitate and let opportunities fly by without you. And have a faith in your systems, in your setup, in the time that you have spent studying the market and learning your setups that happen often. You want to be able to execute on those. But you do have to figure out that line, and ego sometimes will lead to a stubbornness, accepting larger risks than you intended to when you made your trade plan with a clear head. And so that could be, you get in at a certain point and you're like, this looks good, I feel so good about this, I'm just going to double or triple my trade size because I know I'm winning, I'm on a winning streak, this is the trade. Well, right there is you're going against your tried and true system that keeps your account safe, and that is what potentially leads to bigger losses. And I think there's a lot of ego in that, because your consistent system says I trade with 1 to 3 contracts based on my account size, and I lock in this amount of points, and it builds up over time. But if you're all of a sudden in for 6 or 7 because you're sure you're right, you very well might be right, and that would be a sick win. But what if you're wrong, And so for me, that looks like trading really decisively when your setup presents. And so making sure you're taking in all of that information and then trading per your system, per your back testing, what it shows in your information that gets you to your outcomes you want. But then also, conversely, admitting when you're wrong and cutting those losers quickly. That is also a confident approach. Being able to accept a small loss is a confident approach. And then also, I think part of this that helps build my confidence over the time is that recognizing that I've put in the work to see and take great trades. And so there's a bit of hindsight bias to that, of knowing that the trader that I am this year is like leaps and bounds from the trader I was 2 or 3 years ago. And so I should have confidence in entering my trades, because I've shown up for the work. And so that will build my confidence. And if I'm feeling like I do know what a good setup is and how to take it, if I'm feeling like it's going against me, I need to be able to cut that. And if a trade turns into a bad trade, confidence is taking a small loss, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That is also confidence holding your trade to targets, but also taking a small loss is saying, I see the data that is showing me I want out, and maybe I'm right or wrong. You never know what's actually going to print, but that is honoring your intuition and your history of learning to be a trader. And so the ego, it needs you to be right. It needs you to win the big wins so that you can feel good about it, tell your friends about it, whatever. But confidence is different. It's more subtle. It's knowing that you hold your winners, you trade your system, you show up for the work of it, and you lock in and you do it again the next day. It's a more peaceful, calm, steady energy versus an ego that wants to see those big wins. But then in that situation, those big risks are, it's a bit much sometimes to take that. Okay, so resilience. Resilience is so important, I think, in life, but definitely in trading, in order to be a long game trader, to be able to see the forest through the trees and to get back in after losses, because losses and setbacks are inevitable, especially in trading, especially in day trading, especially when you're putting risk on the line and there's emotions involved, and we are humans, we're not actually algos. And so you know that this is a part of the process. Like statistically, taking losses is literally has to be a part of your trade plan, because that's how it's functional long term, is being able to respect your stop losses. So the issue is how you bounce back. That determines your long-term success, how you can take your punch and get back up, how quickly you can get back up. So improving your speed and acceptance with that bouncing back, that is what decreases your pullback severity and duration in your journey and your equity curve. Being able to take a loss and keep it contained in a smaller size loss, and then being able to calm yourself and focus on your system, you will get back sooner, and you will be able to execute on a good trade sooner by not holding on to that negativity of a loss if you choose to live in that more rough headspace. And so in real life practice, for me, that is learning from mistakes. So red days are lesson days. I tried to take away, best of my ability a long time ago, negative connotation around a losing trade, because in my situation, the way I see it, I chose to enter that trade based on the information that I was seeing on the charts. And so if that trade lost, I want to understand why. I want to know what I missed, what maybe I could have seen sooner, if there was anything that I could have caught that would have had me wait a little longer before I entered. And so I seek to understand and not to kind of just shove it aside and try and forget the fact that that sucked for a minute. And so ways to do that looks different, but you could journal either in handwritten or in a spreadsheet. You can talk it out with the right people or person, such as on a live stream with your mentor. If you have an accountability partner, that's super powerful. And then once you can kind of take the lesson, figure that out, and then just show up the next day with focus and a clean slate. That way you can wait for more opportunities and be ready to execute on your system. Now, how to get back to that is different for everyone. I think with different personalities, different energies, different hobbies, different interests, it's going to be different for everyone, but how you can kind of clean your mind from that negative outcome is powerful. So figure that out for yourself. If it's rest, if it's exercise, meditation, a hobby, a certain person just going out and venting, maybe that's a controlled tequila setup. I'm not judging. Whatever you need to do to clear your mind and your headspace, that is how you can most quickly bounce back. And so I think remembering also as a part of your trade system, and somehow you need to keep reminding yourself this in your daily practice, that one day or a period in your trading journey does not define the bigger picture for you. And so choosing some patience during a drawdown, and just know that right now I haven't got a good trade in a day or two or what have you, but it doesn't mean that I'm not a good trader, and that my track record shows that I am learning, growing, and getting better. I think that again also helps you get over it faster, essentially. And that's the goal with resilience, is getting over it as fast as you can so you can get back to winning. Okay, so this is another one of my favorites, which is process-oriented thinking, which I don't think I understood early in my trading journey. I think I gauged a day as good or bad based on the P&L. If I was profitable, then it was good. And if I was red, then it sucked and I didn't know what I was doing, which is not actually all that helpful to your learning and your progress as a trader. I think outcome-based thinking, that will lead to an emotional reaction, and then a fixation on the end. The P&L of your day is the decider whether or not you're good or not. But process-oriented, it keeps you so much more grounded and present with your system and the current market data and opportunities. And it has you focusing on, if I can get this engulfing candle at this level and it starts to retrace, this is a great setup. This is what I want to do. My system says that this is entry criteria based on these conditions. And so that's what I want to dial into and catch and capture my opportunity on. It's not, I want a green trade and it looks bullish, so I'm just going to enter along wherever the hell I want to enter along. No, it's my system is XYZ. That's what I'm hunting for. And that is me trading my process. And I know that statistically trading my process gets me those success outcomes. So it really keeps you dialed in to what your back testing and your study sessions have taught you, and then leaning into trading in that system versus any sort of impulsiveness. Because statistically, as you have been a trader for a longer period of time, you'll realize that it feels different. It feels completely different hunting a P&L outcome versus hunting your setup for your ideal entry and outcome. So I think that is just, a much better approach to trading. And so when I'm trading, I definitely want to, especially after trades, so this part, evaluating trades based on execution quality, not just whether it made money. And so saying, that trade won, but could it have been better? Did I get in at my ideal entry? Did I follow my rules on when this level broke and it held? Did I get my ideal entry and I scaled out my logical targets? Did I honor my plan and edge, or did I allow the emotions to take control of the opportunities that were present? Did I just get chasing? Did I FOMO? Did I watch these other things and they made me want to jump in the market? Or was I patient and balanced and I waited for my setup? It's just such a different energy behind the two objectives. Are you focused on your outcome or your process? So I would argue that, let it happen. One good trade. I don't know if you guys have heard this phrase or read this book, but it's One Good Trade by Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital in New York. His signature statement from that book, One Good Trade, is one good trade followed by one good trade. And that is their approach to trading in their funding company, in their firm. And I just love that so much because it really reminds you that focus on your setup that's coming, trade it to the best of your ability, and then when it's done, settle your mind down and see what else you can get. And that, to me, is like a process-oriented, just in the moment, trading your system. So, that one is one of my favorites. So right there, I think I'm going to take a pause. Rebecca, I definitely need a water break. And you have some fun things to tell us about?
Hi.
Hey.
So I came in here to tell you guys we are actually running a giveaway later for an eval account, but there may or may not be a secret code so you can get some extra entries, and that secret code may or may not be mindset. I don't know, that's what I heard.
That's a great code.
I agree.
Okay.
I think we're going to run the actual giveaway a little later because we're going to let Becky do her thing, but maybe keep in mind that the secret code is mindset.
All right. Thank you. That's a good tidbit. Everyone's taking notes, right? It's a mindset kind of day. Okay, so let's have some more mindset energy to prepare us for that giveaway, because who doesn't want more accounts? Which also, I heard that now you can have 3 accounts with Blue Sky, so I kind of love that. I'm a trade copier, not gonna lie. So that's a cool new development as well. Okay, so number 7 of the 10 mindsets that I had to cover today is curiosity. So I think that there's a phrase that I love. It's curiosity over anxiety. And so curiosity over anxiety is like wanting to know what's going to happen, but not being so fearful that you're afraid of what the outcome would be. So it's like being a lifelong learner, wanting to gain more knowledge and be open to receive that knowledge versus like afraid of something bad happening. And so I think the best traders do constantly refine their edge and stay ahead of market changes by constantly kind of trying to see what the market is telling them, the subtle hints that the market structure can give you in terms of where she might go next. I think being open to see that is such a stronger stance versus holding to any sort of like pre-planned understanding of what the direction might be. And so you can journal your outcomes and talk it out with other trading partners. And then when you get information based on your trades or the market, your market analysis, you take that information and you adjust your system to improve so that your results are not stagnant. Because I think if we never really assess what information we could be missing or what tells might be given out by Miss Market, then I think staying stagnant is kind of a best case scenario. But in order to really improve your equity curve, I think that looks like, taking in as much information as you can and critically thinking about what it could mean. And so, I mean, I do love also Miss Market is abundant if you keep studying her moves. And so, like, trying to learn which direction, what the tells are, which energy the market is giving towards, I think can give you a lot of direction. Such as today, I mean, we saw that the support of the second half of the session was holding, and we made a lower or a higher low, and the bears just were out of steam. And so that did give some sort of tell, right, that there could be a move in the up direction, and that the bulls were a little bit of the stronger force towards the end there. And so that is this, right? This is curiosity of, you know, if you look on the daily candle, it's a giant bearish candle. However, there was a bull move to scalp at the end. And so for me, that is curiosity of the data that's printing in front of you. So to expand on that, what it looks like, it's studying the charts. It's testing new ideas via back testing or live trading, but with micro. So if you think you see something, you're not sure, you haven't traded a certain setup before, trade it, back test it, but manage your risk a little bit snugger if it's something that is a new setup to you. I would argue that. But then also reviewing your trades regularly and replaying them for more ideal outcomes when you see a setup again. Say you're approaching this day and you think this great setup was happening, maybe you fumbled your entry, you got in, and your setup did play out, but maybe you got in too soon. And so I would say in that situation, like, study that and replay it and figure out, had you tweaked your entry just 5 more minutes, you would have gotten a better entry, more points, had more information, had to weather less drawdown. That curiosity over how you could make a good trade even better will change your overall growth for sure. And so that is equivalent to continuing education hours for any other profession, right? My first career as a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 19 years now. And so in that role, every 2 years, we have to have certain required certifications and continuing educations to stay current in that world. Well, in trading, it should be required, but this is a self-driven profession, right? And so you have to make that decision on your own if you want to pursue always getting more information. And so, I mean, I'm new around here. I joined Blue Sky early September. However, I would have to give a nod here because Coach Matt and Riz give so much good information for free, you guys. Like, they really, I mean, the candlestick session last week, I mean, I think that this is an example of, like, surround yourself with people that give you good vibes, but then also good information that make you stronger. And that is part of being a continuous forever learner that will make you a stronger trader if you want to get, 6, 7, 8 figures down the line in your trading career. You gotta take in more information and not stay stagnant. Okay, so this one is another beautiful mindset, and that is abundance. I did mention this a little bit last week as well, and I think that it's really a powerful energy, similar to gratitude, but slightly different. And so this is where you believe that life holds an incredible amount of opportunities, and the market as well. So it can be macro or micro, depending on what you're looking at within your life. But abundance is, there's always potential for all kinds of good outcomes for us, right? So in order to most fully capitalize on them, it is important to remember that they're always there. They're going to come back around again. Even in a drawdown, there's potential everywhere if you can be patient. It's the saying, there'll always be another bus. That being said, think about you're running up to the bus stop and you see your bus literally pull away from the curb. You could say all the curse words as well, or you could just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to grab a beverage at the convenience store and sit down and have 20 peaceful minutes and catch the next bus, right? So much better. Like, there's another bus. And so I think that sort of a mindset shift, instead of, a bazillion curse words about missing the damn bus, just call wherever you're going, tell them you're going to be 20 minutes late, and enjoy a little moment of pause. Same thing on the charts. If you had a great setup and you couldn't get into it, instead of chase it, just wait. Recognize that the market is abundant. And instead of being fearful that you won't get another opportunity, instead have faith in your system and know that when another good opportunity is there, you're going to grab it. And so it allows you to see through anxiety and more, have more faith, I suppose, in it. Guys, this chat is funny. I'm trying to focus, but you guys are funny. Full aggression. I mean, sometimes full aggression, but I'm not gonna lie. When I have approached the market, side note, with full aggression, I've had big days, and they were not always big green days. And so I think that is a part of my experience where I have dialed into these mindsets, because I love a big green day, but I really hate a big red day. Like, I really hate a big red day. And for me to get paid as a trader, the change happened when I can cut those big red days. If I can have small red days, then I take payouts from my accounts. Like that is the change. So anyways, that was a side note. But I think abundance is a more peaceful view of life. It's increased positivity and resilience as well that is free of the fear of failure. It's more like, even in losses, such as a trading loss, there's more knowledge exploration and believing that there are endless opportunities and that it's fine because there'll be something better and your account is safe because you used appropriate risk management tools. And so those losses are lessons that will lead to more winning down the line, right? And so if you can have losses and they're contained, then your accounts are safe and you can have that abundance approach to everything with trading and recognize that when the next trade comes, maybe you took a $300 loss, the next trade could be a $650 win. And so then you're solid, right? By having that sort of patient approach. And with more opportunities, you get more growth with that. And so if you embrace the personal growth as a means to capitalize on the opportunities as well, it means that even if you have a red P&L, if you learn from that moment, it's going to make you stronger down the line. Say you lost $300 3 times this week and it pissed you off, right? You got very frustrated and you sought your mentor and you had a long conversation about how those losses happened. But then maybe that conversation led you to learn a key bit of information that really changed the way you're approaching those types of days. And say the next 6 months you had, 60 days of winning on those sort of days because you had this really terrible week that forced you to have the hard conversations where you learned. In that situation, that's an abundance mindset. Those losses taught you to seek information and that propelled you to greater heights because you believed in the potential of what you were learning. And so then you seek the innovation and new potential and it's constantly growing. And so it's such a better energy as well as a better outcome down the line if you can have the patience through those harder moments. Speaking of patience, there's 2 more mindsets that I want to cover. And I think patience, had to be on here, obviously, right? And so with that, I put together like the compounding effects of the accounts. And so I think you guys know this, but most of trading is waiting, right? It's waiting for setups or entries, your entry criteria. It's waiting for confirmations that tell you that this trade is going to be a good trade. And so to have patience for that. And rushing into a trade when you think this market is ready or because say you only have 2 hours in your office and you haven't got a good trade off yet. And so you just throw it at this direction. That's not really a strong system, right? And so then why in that situation would you expect strong results? I don't think that is logical. But if you can be patient and you wait, okay, I think this is my setup. I think it looks good for this. I'm going to wait for my confirmation signal and then I'm going to get in. The results will be very different along with the energy of that, right? And so in practice, this is going to look like you're not going to force your trades. Instead, you breathe and you watch the market with that curiosity we talked about and letting the high probability setups come to you. You can stay calm after a loss or a win and you don't revenge trade or overtrade as a response to that situation. Instead, you kind of accept the trade outcome and you sit back from your computer and you breathe and you see what more information you can get. Even if you won, there's some emotions with that. And so taking a patient moment there too. And so ideally, at least for me, I strive to only execute on a couple of the highest quality trades of the day because there's really good opportunities that present, but they're not all the time. And so, if you can balance that out with knowing when your highest success rate is for trading at a certain time of day, and then also making sure you're fitting in your life like a walk or exercise or another family pursuit or hobby, then you can not hunt every candle. Matt said this earlier in the trading session today, setting alerts. And so I think that is a huge tool that I use as well as a trader because I don't do better when I watch every single candle print. But if I'm, for instance, in a live stream like on Blue Sky, or I want to go get a project done in my yard, I can have my phone with me and set my alerts at my areas of interest and have those call me back. And that is like a literal physical way in order to be patient because it's trading in an area where you're not going to execute on. So do something else with your body and then have a means to watch it if you're in a position to take another trade. It's really powerful for helping rein you in and not engaging in those over trading activities, but instead waiting for your best setups. And then to that end, you also want to try and keep your losses small because I have found that small losses will lead to successful P&L outcomes in the long term. So if you have small losses and you can couple those with a monthly overview of wins of varying sizes, some big win days, some small win days, those will create a positive equity curve in your accounts. And so that is a compounding effect of patience with your system, of accepting the small losses and letting that day close, and knowing that with the abundant mindset, there's going to be more opportunities. And so that's kind of a way to make patience a part of your system, to allow your accounts to be able to compound. It makes trading doable when there's high risk on the line. It can be kind of scary, but if you put certain practices in place, such as the things we're talking about today, it does get you to that profitable outcome if you're learning the right skills and you're managing all of these things. Okay, so I definitely wanted to make sure that we had humility in this. So this is the last mindset I wanted to talk about today. And I think the market can and absolutely will humble anyone and all of us, right? We're all going to be wrong in certain trades. And I think thinking that you are immune from that is dangerous. Overconfidence often actually precedes large losses, because you start to think, I'm on a winning streak, I can't fail, I can throw money at the market with my eyes closed and I'm going to be profitable if you've been winning for weeks at a time. I think that that's risky, right? And entertaining any sort of that sort of thoughts. And so if you can remain humble, it really does promote continuous learning, and it improves like healthy, authentic, open, mutually respectful relationships and conversations. And so like wanting to still learn, and say your trading partner took a different trade, learning with them about what they traded instead of just, I did the best one and your trade was not as good. That's, there's nothing to be gained from that. Plus, I think humility encourages adaptability, because you're still constantly refining your system by being open to learning and not just thinking you know everything. And so in practice, again, that is like accepting that you won't always be right. That has to be a part of your whole system as a professional trader. And then you got to keep your risk in check to that end, because even after a winning streak, it's super dangerous to risk over leveraging at that point if you are getting potentially a lot more complacent by thinking that you're solid, you understand what the market is doing, you're just going to keep rinsing and repeating, and the money's just going to keep rolling. I would definitely argue, and don't get complacent like that. And then also, if you have good people in your life, good communities around you, you want to ask your mentors questions, even on winning streaks, because then if you're humble about what the market is doing, even if you're doing really well, you can be open to receiving feedback on your wins and your losses, and that will help you continue to refine. Because I think I shouldn't say we all, but certainly myself, I have limitations in areas for improvement that I know I still want to refine. And so I am 0% afraid to ask questions. And if someone says something that I don't fully understand, I would rather be judged however someone wants to, but ask a question to seek more knowledge, because it doesn't matter what other people think of you. If you're doing your own thing and you are learning from people who have been doing the thing longer than you and building and refining your system. And so I think that is seeking more knowledge and tuning out more noise, because then you can collaborate more effectively, you can grow your system, you can build stronger relationships by being humble. I'm not gonna lie, people will find you more enjoyable, and you will build stronger relationships, because people will want to have these conversations with you. And in conversations with other skilled traders, you never know what gems can come out of that. What's something, they'll say something and it will give you a light bulb moment, and you'll really be able to expand your own system. And you didn't even anticipate that. You didn't even know that you were going to learn something super valuable that could change anything in your trading system. And so that is humility in action, by being open to receive conversations with everyone, being that you want to gauge that a little bit and make sure you have people who have some knowledge and some understanding of what you're doing. But there's a lot of potential there if you're open to receive it. That was a lot of words. Thank you guys for hanging with me. I think that those mindsets they've been really valuable for me, and thinking about putting them together today. There's some crossover with them, but they're also kind of independently powerful in terms of how we can adjust our whole approach to trading and life to get more consistent long-term outputs, right? And so to make this actionable, if this is newer content to you, I think for a lot of traders, some of this you've known and some of this you practice also, but there is room for us to grow with this. So I don't know if you guys have heard the term neuroplasticity, but I have studied that quite a bit, and the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza was pretty powerful for me. And that essentially means that your brain can form new neural pathways of subconscious thoughts. And so you can basically retrain your brain in order to more rapidly drive down these mindsets versus negative, unhelpful, closed-minded ones. But it's not going to be an overnight process. And so you're going to want to have consistent effort over weeks to months for developing new habits and thought patterns in your actual outcomes in order for those to become a part of your subconscious response to what you're doing. There is actually data that cites that it takes 66 days to change a habit of continuous effort. And so that's just to show you this is not going to be a quick flip, right? And even significant lasting change, I mean, that's like years if you have a lot of retraining to do, depending on, where you have been. So, you guys, if you're not watching the chat, you should watch the chat. The link is there. So good luck for the new eval, everyone. The link is there. And I don't know if anyone remembers the magic word, but I think it has something to do with mindset. I could be wrong.
I think it might be something to do with mindset. It's a secret, though. Like,
Yeah, don't tell anyone that it might be mindset.
Becky, can I just say one thing very quickly? I just want to say thank you. Like, we have a lot of trading conversations, technical conversations. Like 90% of the time, we're talking technical analysis of some variety, right?
Yeah.
But mindset is 90% of what keeps you in this game long term. And I've been trading now for 20 years, and I was taught some very valuable lessons along the way by the market, and those lessons weren't technical. Those lessons weren't process oriented. They were mindset lessons. And so I just want to say thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed the last two settings, the last two times here, Becky, and this was wonderful today. I just want to say thank you.
Aw. Thank
Really
you very
good.
much.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, thank you very
Mike,
much, Becky.
hello.
That's been awesome.
Hello.
Thank-
Your input.
This is seriously my jam. Like I learned that the hard lesson myself as trading. Once I thought I had a strong edge and my mentor was teaching me like killer technical analysis and I could see the trades play out and I could catch them, I was starting to piss me off, to be honest, of why I wasn't consistently profitable. And that's when I really started to dig into all of this mindset work and like the fact that it was my choices on and off the charts and my approach, my emotional management. And so when I started to dig into that work and shift that for myself, that's when the outcomes changed. Like the literal P&L changed, not from learning more technical skills, but from like getting on top of this. And I do have to say, like this page of like making it actionable, this is the real work. Like
The market is closed.
the whole point of it is to be aware of what's going on in your own head. If you're really stuck in that negative headspace or those negative feelings and making poor choices, you got to start figuring out how you can shut that off. Like manage those inner thought patterns and change them, shift them over time. Say, what if I thought, this is a learning opportunity, not this is a crappy P&L that I want to make sure my husband doesn't see. How about instead, I lost today. I want to talk to my mentor and I need to understand how I can not lose this way in the future. And so if we could just capture those thoughts and twist them even just a little bit, like slight adjustments over time, it starts to add up. It starts to change your inner dialogue, and then it makes it more positive and supportive for a growth environment instead of just constantly trying to fight the markets. It's being grateful that you're learning and knowing that the market is abundant, and maybe today didn't end green, but there's no reason that it couldn't in the end game. That you can learn and become a more powerful trader through this potential drawdown. It's such good energy for where you want to go as a trader. And so everyone can do this a little bit differently, but I think, affirmations, notes in your office, different people that you talk to that help remind you that this is who you are and this is how you want to approach everything. I think that really is what needs to change. And then you have to just figure out how to make it your own, right? Matt's journey through this is probably looked different than mine, but we both worked through this inner emotional work that we had to. And so you got to lean into what most speaks to your personality, because if the steps that you're taking speak to who you are, it's going to stick more. It's going to, you're not fighting uphill because Joe Blow on YouTube said I need to meditate for 2 hours every morning. If that's not how you can behave, it's not going to work. You need to make it fit into your life and your personality and to be the most effective that it can be. And so whether that's journaling, certain people you want to talk to, a meditation or visualization session that fits with your time frame and your home environment, I think we each will figure out how we are getting better and then lean into those things that are helping you improve. And I think that is just really the powerful way to make all these functional, to make these shifts in your life, in your emotions, in your response, and mostly in the words that are going on in your head between you and you. That's where you need to make the change. And then the outcome of that will be on the charts in your executions and in your P&L eventually. So that's why I think these conversations are really just so important for all of us to like embrace, and instead of like think that it's like woo or whatever, but to like fully embrace the mindset adjustments that you can make over time in order to have like a bigger change in your journey. So thank you guys for having me. I think if I came on again, I'm certainly open to anything that you guys would want to talk about or hear from me about in areas that you are working on this specifically. We could get more into potentially.
Oh, I got some ideas, Becky. I'll shoot you some on in a private message.
Okay, great.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome class. Loved it.
Thank you.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah, I think hi guys. I think it's I'm really grateful to be here because I think that when you can find a community that has like really good traders and good energy and good coaches, I think it's important to have all of the conversations, like technical and psychological and supportive. If someone's having a hard day, I think having an environment where they can talk about it and learn from it, I think it's always encouraged to have like real impactful change. Thank you. Turn that off. What? Is that how old is your baby, Matt? Oh, that sounds like a baby.
Or
It
two.
is. He's my little dude. He's not my baby, by the way, but he is my little dude. And he's 5 months, 4 months. He's a trader in training right now. I can tell you that.
That definitely was the sound of a young one. Like,
Oh yeah.
I call my baby a
He's
baby, but
unhappy.
he's at preschool, so. All right, well, that is all I have for today, you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging with me, and this conversation is one of my favorite things to talk about because every time I even bring up these topics, whether it's to just my trading partner or my community, it helps remind me of who I want to be and how I want to execute on the charts and as a person, and how the changes that I've made in my own journey that have gotten me the best outcomes. And so then I want to keep the pressure on there of remaining calm and cool and focused on my process, and that really works for me. So thank you for having me.
Hey, Becky, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So during a trader journey, we've all been on trader journeys, but during a journey, I think a lot of the traders out here don't realize that your journey cannot be you alone. I know that your families struggle with knowing what this is about. They call it gambling. And can you address the kind of way they can approach someone that's close to them, a loved one, a mom, a dad, a wife, girlfriend, whatever, how they can kind of convince them that, hey, I'm not just sitting at home playing here.
Oh, I think that's so applicable. I mean, I think my parents are just waiting to hear I lost a ton of money and I'm quitting still. And I've been doing this for 4.5 years. And so I think that's definitely a part of my journey is, I think you have to really regulate who you allow in your inner circle and certainly in your environment when you're trading. And so for me, West Coast trading is in the morning. I can't entertain a conversation with anyone who has any sort of negative energy about my trading. I just won't take those calls or deal with those needs at that time frame. But then if those people are still in my lives, I have to keep a modicum of space in the conversations. And so, if someone who doesn't understand it and thinks that it is gambling and that I'm wasting my life and if I need more money, I should pick up an overtime shift at the hospital. To them, I just don't engage with that conversation because they're not my inner family generally. They're not impacting my everyday hourly. If it was like my husband or a family member that lived with me, I would definitely want to just keep the conversation short and don't divulge a lot of your personal information with them because they're not creating your trading system for you and they are not managing your inner dialogue that is helping you execute on the charts. And so just talk to them about dinner items and grocery trips and what the kids are up to at school. But if they ask about your trading, I keep it short and simple. It's going great. Thank you for asking. And if they're concerned about your finances, it's gambling, you're giving away all your money. The answer again there is short and crisp. And it's, I really appreciate your concern. I know that you are supportive and want the best for me. However, I'm really good at risk management and there are things that I have in place to protect my account preservation. So thank you for your support. And I will let you know if I need it again. But I definitely think keeping that short and crisp is the most powerful, because you can't let their negativity get into your head, because there's just, like we talked about all day today, like shutting out the negativity is a superpower that will help you stay long in this game.
I agree.
Do you do anything different?
I agree with you. I mean, I've been down that road. People are like, oh, it's gambling. Okay.
Yeah.
See my chart.
Gambling
Yeah,
is getting in your car in a commute during rush hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also you can just cite the fact that I'm like, gambling is something that people do on the charts. There are gambler traders. However, that's not me. And so if you're worried about that, I just want you to respect the fact that I wouldn't approach it that way, because I treat it as a profession, and I show up in a way of seeking mentors and being a part of a strong community and learning and growing as my system. So I love that you think that trading is a gambling pursuit, but for me, it is absolutely a profession. And when I have said that to someone, like, they don't even have words. Like, what are you going to say to that? How are you going to tell me that I'm not putting in the work and making my system work for me? Because that's just kind of a fact at this point. And so that usually will shut them down pretty quick as well.
Yeah, I always tell them, hey, look, when I get my first shot, I'll put your name on it.
Can I jump in on this real quick?
The NASDAQ key.
Add a thought really quickly, because when you think about the gambling mindset in the market, and there are certainly gamblers in the market, there's no doubt about that. If you treat, and what I tell people all the time when they're a new trader and they have concern about people in their life, because it happens all the time, Mike, people in your ear telling you, don't do this, don't do that, right? And some of that is projecting, others is gaslighting, but it does happen quite a bit. And what I always tell them is, if you come to this market and you treat this market like a degenerate gambler, it will treat you like that. You will be a story that we tell other people of bad behavior. That I won't say that's a likelihood, but if you have that mindset, then you will be treated as such. But if you come to this market and you respect price action and you treat it like a business and you incorporate and you do it the right way and you have a business mindset and you structure your routine the same way around trading that you do in any other business, and you run it like a business, it will treat you like a business. And so you got to talk to them about it like that. But at the end of the day, the people in your life, your family and your friends that do not have a trading mindset, they're going to question it. And some of that is their desire, quite frankly, their projections coming through, their emotions coming through, and it's coming through you. But at the end of the day, if you treat this like a professional and you treat this like a business, and you don't treat it like a gambler and you don't treat it like a hobby, it will treat you as a business owner. Period. And
Very well said. Mm-hmm. I saw something actually yesterday on a social media outlet for the podcast that I was posting on, and it was that your biggest supporter will be a stranger and your biggest hater will be someone who you think loves you. And
Sure.
I read that and it was like a showstopper for me. I was like, that's the damn truth, because people don't get it. And I don't think you can fully understand trading unless you have lived it. You've felt the pain, you've worked through it, you have struggled to get better. Traders understand that. Like, everyone who's still here in this live stream understands that you have put in blood, sweat, and tears, and this is really hard. And that's why these mindset conversations are powerful, because we know that when we operate under a healthy mindset, we have healthier trading outcomes. And so you all are strangers, but one of you might be my new best friend in 3 years, because we're on similar paths and we're learning about what we're experiencing. And someone who is in our personal life who doesn't know anything about trading and just judges it, and then they might get jealous or envious, that is not you're going to be your biggest supporter a lot of the times. And we just kind of have to swallow that pill and recognize that trading is different than a lot of other professions in that way.
And also think about their emotions are their emotions. You don't understand where it's coming from. It's deep. You don't understand why they're telling you not to do something, why they're telling you that all the negative about trading, when they know in the back of their mind. I met enough people, taught enough people from the very, very beginning point to know in the back of their mind they want this too. And they're just projecting some of their, I don't even want to say negativity, it's more skepticism, because they've heard horror stories, right? successful people don't have a tendency to run around beating on their chest saying, look, that's not how successful people do it. How people who have failed at this business, they like to go out and tell everybody else it's somebody else's fault. Oh, it's Goldman Sachs who did this. It's JB Morgan. It's the central bank. It's the government. It's a Trump tweet. It's something. It's always an excuse when what they should do is look internally. And so, like, all of this, like, I just find all these mindset conversations so vital to the journey.
It's funny, Matt, you brought that up because today I was kind of going through something and I've seen this thing where people are actually blaming the grocery stores for the bad food prices. And I'm like, do y'all have any idea what's really going on here? Have you heard of Nestle? Have you heard of Nestle, and have you heard of PepsiCo, who made $150 billion in food this last year, and on food sales? It's big pharma has turned into big pharma in the food industry.
Yep.
All the big 5 top companies have set all the prices. The grocery stores have no hand in that.
Grocery store isn't trying to screw you.
It's not Publix and Food Line that are killing you. I see thousands of these posts. I'm like, are we all living
They
in a
can't
rock?
do 2 plus 2 in a supply chain, Mike, and yet they're going to tell us not to trade.
And this is the kind of, and that's what I was going to tell you. These are the kind of people that would tell you trading is crazy, but they can't understand the supply chain. I mean, it kills me.
They hate the local grocer because of food prices.
Yeah, let's go in there and beat the manager up, man, because my steak's $24.
Can we talk about what's going on with soybeans and why that's impacting prices?
I'll tell you right now, though, what I'm waiting on, guys, is I'm waiting on if we ever get Ukraine war to end, we know we're going to jump on wheat. I know it sounds crazy, but when I took the short on wheat during the Ukraine first day of the war, it was massive. Okay, so just keep that wheat in your mind if you're a trader, because
it's amazing how much wheat comes out of Ukraine. Truly,
because they supply tons of wheat,
tons,
and so they have a bunch of other stuff too. But those are kind of cool things you come across, and those are the things I'm looking for. Like I got friends that send me stuff all the time. Hey, have you checked this out? Have you checked that out? Yeah, I did. And some of it's really good information because all these guys are actually pretty good traders with some big firms, not prop firms, but Wall Street firms that I know. But I just think it's like on the lines of, people degrading you because you're trading. They're going to. People are going to beat you up over trading because you're at home working. You're working 5-10 minutes a day, and they're working 40 hours a week. And that's the thing about this. When I first started this, started trading, when I first started trading and I got out of my job, people told my wife, you better leave him. This is going nowhere. I'm serious. That was kind of stuff they would tell my wife. This is going to fail. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. But now they don't really much acknowledge me much anymore because they're like, well, okay, I guess he did something.
Mike, in the first 10 years of my career, people would ask my kids, what do I do? Because I'm from a small town where everybody knows everybody. And so everybody like, what does your dad do? What does your dad do? And my daughter was in bring your dad to school day. And the teacher's asking my daughter, so what did your dad do? What did your dad do? And she's trying to describe it. She's only like 5 years old. She's trying to describe it, and she can't describe it. She just can't. And she says, she finally gets very frustrated, and she says, he just clicks buttons. And that's what we do.
It's like a person came to my house a couple months ago. We had some people come over, and we had a guy working here, and I think it was his wife or something like that, girlfriend or something. Anyway, she came to my trade room, and she seen my big screen up on the TV because I got my TV that I use in the trade room. It's 98-inch, and she seen the NASDAQ chart with all the candles going up and down. And she goes, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were one of those people that track volcanoes and earthquakes." I go, "Yeah, man, I've been doing it for a long time." I didn't know what else to say. So, but that's
we climbed up one mountain, and unfortunately, we fell down the cliff.
So when people come to your house, guys, and they look at your charts and they don't know what it is, they're going to say, "Wow, you do earthquakes for a living." Yeah, get paid really well too. 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, when you ask me that question, my answer is like short and sweet because to explain the depth of trading to someone who thinks that you're studying volcanoes is just going to be a whole lot of words, but like to what end,
Yeah, like somebody said in the chat. My dad draws triangles for a living.
Yeah.
Said in the chat. That's about right too.
That's accurate. That's accurate. We draw things.
Yeah, keep those trend lines.
We like to consider ourselves as much artists as analytical creatures of the S&P 500.
Yeah.
Make your chart speak to you.
Yeah, I'm working on some new stuff for some charts. I was working on some stuff last night. I did a whole new setup for the auto trader. It's really looking cool too. So I'm probably going to show that to you guys and maybe run it live in the room all day one day and let you guys just use it. Just kind of.
It'd be nice to see that in action. Absolutely.
Well, I was going to show you, but I don't think I can share my screen in here, can I?
You can't. I think you can.
Says
We don't have anybody sharing right now, Mike. You should be able to.
It's weird because it's. Yeah, let me see if I can figure this out here. It's been kind of weird lately. Let's put this over here on this other screen then before we do it. Let me move it off one screen and put on another. Okay. So we'll go right here and oh, wait a minute. I think I don't know. It's not. It's strange. Okay. There we go. There we go. You guys see this?
It's coming up now, I think.
There it is, Mike. We're good.
Yeah. So now you've got your AI line, right? So your AI line lets you know that if it's a red AI line, it's a bear market, right? So when you're
okay. And the red line would be the one. Are you pointing to the one on the candles or the one like the moving average above the candles?
Yeah, right here. See this?
Okay, so that signifies the trend still bearish.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you come back over.
Yeah, go ahead.
See this right here? They're green.
So when it gets above the line, it shifts.
Yeah. So what they do is this AI line will turn red during bear moves, turn back to green and go to blue. And it'll stay. It always likes to stay blue, but sometimes it will turn red. See, I turned red right here. So this is double. This is like a confirmation. When you're seeing all the blue here, it means the bulls aren't done until she turns red with the red. And see how the red dots print also? So you got one confirmation, two confirmations, three confirmations of a bear. The bears are in this market. Don't be going long.
When the candle color turns green, Mike, what does that signify? Is that like a momentum shift?
You mean right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. See how it says market pullback line?
Yeah.
This line now is going to become this is not an EMA. This line measures stuff between these two lines to let you know.
Like a MACD scenario.
Yeah, it's almost like let you know where you can almost look for a pullback. And the funny thing about these pullbacks is this is sitting right on the bank level. So it's kind of cool that happened. You know what I mean? So just kind of. I can pull the chart up, the chat up here. There we go. I got the chat here with us. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's not a super trend. It's way better than that. But down here, guys, you got your test lines, which I haven't see the flow line. This is your flow line of your market, what your market's really doing in real time versus the chart here, right? So you got your flow line here to tell you, you can look and see the pullbacks in the market. See them? All the green little dots are pullbacks. Okay, your test lines will move with the market. I'm still working on the test lines right now, but these see the TAS alert down here. This is where people were going to try to go long before the market closed, but it didn't happen. But see the shorts over here where it says sell. So it told you to sell this candle right here as soon as it crossed in the red. I would have waited till it got past the bank levels right here on this area. This would have been my trade here, down to the bank level here. And then she come down to this bank level here, hit this bank level and stopped. So it is kind of cool though. Just a new. Yeah, it's just little things I'm working on. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for people to see trades. And this is one of the ways to do it. I'm working on something else with TradingView right now too. And it's it's kind of cool. But this right here, though, this automatically takes the trade. Like it'll automatically go in here, take this short, and when it goes long here, it'll close it. It always closes long, or you can tell it to close long or close it yourself. But it's cool for an auto trader.
Yeah,
Just
that's really
different.
awesome. Yeah, that's good. That's good strategy. That's good.
Yeah, you just got to have a strategy, like you said. It's something you can look and see, and if it's a bear market, we're not going to be going long in a bear market, unless we're going to go long at a level, a level we know that we can go long at, like right here. This down here is definitely a level to pull back right here. See these pullback levels right here, and the biggest one's right there. Here's your big pullback level right here. You can see it line up with these candles over here. So if you drew your sideways box right here for this morning, this box is going to come all the way across here and touch these. So that's the pullback level off of this move over here. This is why I always say go left on charts, guys, because you can mark this top right here. See where it lines up at? On this candle right here, right? See this? How she lines right up? And then you got your bottoms down here, right there. So your bottom lines up right in here on this candle or this candle. So when it come down, you close this and go get the pullback on it also. It's like a double whammy trade there. And also, that when you're near a bank level, you're going to get either pullbacks or something's going to happen here. And these are the two bank levels. We didn't get this one today. This is one they wanted, which they're going to get probably tonight. So tonight, guys, overnight session is 2503, 957 here, or 55 north. And then once you get those bank levels, you're looking at this one, 3786. This is going to be your overnight up to 146, 119. So these are your overnight sessions. Your big high is going to be 177 right here. So if you think of 177, 154, right? 146, 119, 86, 37, 55, 957, and 03 there. Those are all going to play a factor tonight if the market moves. Kind of cool, isn't it?
Thanks for dropping all those levels. That's really valuable to know what you're looking for and where to set your alerts at for potential movements.
Yeah, if you guys just want to grab your camera real fast and take a picture of this, go ahead. You'll have them. Screenshot those levels. Those 618, 382s are automatic bank levels, and the banks use them all the time. I mean, it's become normal that we know this. And you can go back, guys, and I won't move it right now, but I can go back on this chart a year, 2 or 3 years, and you're still going to hit these big levels every single time that they use. But I just wanted to show you this chart, guys, and kind of give you some stuff I'm working on that we can use in the trade room. Just throw it up there and let it go,
That is awesome, Mike. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem, guys.
And thanks for hopping on and having me, you guys. I really appreciate hanging out with you. At the Blue Sky, you guys are such good energy. So, and I'm happy to be here today.
Nacho said his brains exploded. We're glad to have you, Becky.
It's a great chart. I love the system that you have. It just adds more confidence. If you see the bears, this can be another support, another confirmation for your trade direction and your plan.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and you can do this, like I can make this on the 4 hour down here, the 1 hour, oil, gold, it don't matter, Rincos, whatever. But I really just like having this up sometimes too, when I'm looking at my other charts on Ninja and thinking, okay, Ninja's showing one thing. You guys have seen this so many times, how one chart will show one thing and another chart shows another. Like you can take two 50-minute charts and they might look the same, but different strategies that you build come out looking different than the strategy you're looking at. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. But yeah, I do trade gold, copper, silver, ES, NQ. NQ is my favorite though. I've always stuck with it because I just know it so well.
Phibbs, Mike's first suggestion was to put wheat on our radar. I'm willing to bet he trades gold.
Oh yeah, I'm a gold trader. I started out with gold and copper. That's how I learned something a little smaller. And I really like copper. I like copper in London sessions and I like gold in London sessions. But remember, if you're going to trade gold and copper, guys, and oil, well, especially gold and copper. So what the pros do, is a little hint for you. Most every pro I know that goes into London on the oil or on copper or gold, they will go in there on a 3 minute chart. For the first 15 minutes, they'll run the 12 minute on the NASDAQ after that. And we used to run the 3 minute charts in the London session, and then after 15 minutes, we switch back over to the 12 minute or the 15. Normally, I trade on the 12, but I like the 15 too. But that's how I learned how to trade on the NASDAQ, was going from 3 minute to the 12 minute. So there's just different things you can do. But if you really want to get that solid good trade in the morning at 9, always focus on the old trade. Old opens at 9, guys, right before the NASDAQ. So that's another way to make some really kind of quick money right there on your oil trade. You can go, get that $250 off that oil trade every morning. Don't let it get away. Get that gold trade. If you can get a couple good trades before you start trading your day, do it. Enjoy it. You might even get enough to walk away before 9:30 and not have to worry about all the stuff you're worried about with your trade day. I mean, guys have seen me be down, lots of money. I've been down a lot, and I've always come back. But sometimes when I go down in the markets, I take a break. I'll take a month off, not even touch the charts, come back, and I'll make double, triple what I lost. But that's just part of the game. Don't let it beat you up.
Yes, long game mentality, like being able to take a break when you need to reset, I think is so powerful because you can come back stronger by having that like pause to be calm or reset your adrenaline.
Yeah, and I think if you really learn how to put your trading together and have a chart that's kind of clean and not worrying about getting all these everything you hear about, like you said, Becky, not following all the people that run 50,000 things on their chart and all that kind of stuff. Don't get your charts cluttered, guys. Really, the basic tools is all you really need to start out with. If you can have good EMAs, learn how to draw your trend lines, learn how to draw those sideways boxes for that consolidation period. Consolidation is your friend, guys. You've been told wrong in the markets all these years. Avoid consolidation. It's crazy. No, I love consolidation because guess what? I'm either putting more money in on consolidation trades I'm already in, or I'm waiting for a break in the box to make more money. So, and also the RSI, I know people don't, I don't know if anybody trades the RSI, but that 70-30 rule is garbage because, we know as professionals, everybody wants to go up to 70 and close their trade. Well, guess what? 9 times out of 10, the breakout happens at 70 for the bulls. 9 times out of 10, the breakouts happen at 30 for the bears. So they're getting you to close those trades before the breakout happens. So
Can I
don't
add
buy that
something
either.
to that, Mike?
Yeah.
On RSI, I've said this many, many, many times. People think if RSI gets above 70, it's an automatic sign of overextension and thus to start the process of
Exactly.
selling.
Yep.
That's not what RSI reads.
Right.
RSI reads momentum. And so if it gets above 70, you have momentum. It's the exact opposite of what people think. RSI can live above 70 in a strong momentum trend for a while, by the way. And the actual sell signal is not when it goes above 70, but when it actually comes underneath 70.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a great point, Mike. And I see that a lot with these indicators when they learn one indicator like stochastics and they assume that's the same thing with RSI, and they're just not. So
No.
wonderful point on RSI.
And it's true because it's crazy because they want people to believe that because this way they can say, well, okay, these guys are all falling for it. We're gonna go. The breakout long is at the 70 most of the time, and I've seen Ace where he said he don't like the RSI. I don't care for it either, but I always tell people don't use that as a trading indicator because remember, guys, if you do your homework, 90% of the stuff that's on your charts was made years and years ago, and they're lagging indicators. If you notice this chart here, guys, this chart is in real time. Everything on this chart, these numbers all change. I don't like lagging anything. So I don't need to trade with a lagging indicator to stay above the markets. I need to trade with something that's foregoing, right? That's above the markets. And this is why I make stuff like this to keep me solid without having to worry about getting caught in that lag. But there's a lot of, I mean, I could go all day about this because I guess Becky's right. We like to talk about trading and we do a lot of it, you know, but the thing is, you know, it's part of us. Trading becomes a part of you. So I'm reading the chat. That's pretty cool there, guys. How many people we got in the chat still? Like 25. So have you guys, I know that you guys have seen a lot of our stuff coming out and things like that, but we are working on some more stuff, you know, for like to like beginner stuff. There goes my chart down for some wild reason. But you see my chart go down there for a minute. So basically it does that sometimes with the market when it's closed, but I just want you guys to know that we're trying to get to basics. We're going to try to get back to some of the basics of trading to help these new people coming in to actually stay in accounts. Because what we're looking for is to have good traders that can hold those accounts. I had to trade right now. Money, yeah, since the market's closed. Remember, guys, the last time our market closed, the last time we have a government shutdown, I think it was 8 days. So I'm just kind of wondering what day are they going to come back, Coach Matt? Or are they going to come back and say, market's now, the government shutdown is over? When that thing's over, man, this thing's going to run. The market's going to be green like crazy.
It's going to rip. That's how.
Oh, yeah.
It's so unfair to the Bears because the government's been shut down. We haven't seen any selling, but when the government reopens, all the bulls are going to get excited and rip it. And the market's going to finish 3% higher than when the government shut down. And all the Bears are going to be like, how is this fair? And I'll be like, it's not. The market's built for bulls.
Well, you know, my mindset on the government shutdown, my mindset is, okay, every one of the billionaires out there, the big money guys,
yeah,
they don't care. Because what are we looking for, guys? We want the market to come down to a lower buying point. We can rebuy and rip it and make more money. Okay? This is why we want this to come down some more. The more it comes down, the better, you know, the better price we're going to get going back up. So, and that's with stocks and everything. So it's what they look for. Look for that low buying area to get right back in or add on to what they got going on now. So my guess, if I was gonna take a big fall, as you guys can see right here, see the black on this screen? See the black? It means nothing's projected here. Nothing. So we know right here, 24,406 is a projection of the last level. Right there. That's your last bank level. 24,406. You might want to write that down because we're probably going to do it sooner or later. So, but now this might change tomorrow depending on the market flip. If it flips, we'll know. But you can see, look at the big range here you have, okay, off of this bank level at 827 down to 618 right here. You see this big massive move right here? But you got this little one hiding here at 51 for the pullback. So they'll bring it all the way to right there and go, and then go boom and come through it. And then they'll come right down to the next one. Or they'll try to get down here halfway one day, pull back, then go down and touch it. They always hit these every single time. And you can look right here, guys. Look. See this? Bank level, right? Bank level. Come over here, bank level. See them hit it right here? Where'd they come back down to? Bank level right here. Right there and right here while they hit this one. So see over here? Look at this. Bank level. This candle hit this bank level right here. And look at this big move right here. Where'd they come off of? The bank level right here. Come back off the bank level. Rip through one, rip through two, and got to the third and fourth right here. So you see how this works, guys? They're always going to come back to one of these. Always. It has never failed me in 7 years, 6 years. I can go back and look at all these charts for years, but I've been trading on this one for a long time. I've had Motorway for probably 6 years or longer, and it never fails. They love those areas. Go ahead, Becky. Was you going to say something?
Oh, I had to switch to a different device. But yeah, I think that the bank levels and those key levels that we're watching are so powerful to pay attention to, those areas of interest. So it's a great point.
Yeah, because all you got between those guys is what the market calls pullback ranges. Everything,
Mhm.
everything you see, the 786, 886, 13, 127s, these are all the areas where they know the market. This little area zone is called a pullback zone. So these 4 areas from this 99 to 43 are all your pullbacks. So once they got their big move, right? See the pullback right here? 43. Where'd it go to? Right there. Just above 87. Was trying to get to 99, but failed. So it came right back down. Look where it pulled out again. 43. Right back past 59, right? Then they come back over here, kind of got above 59, did it again, again and again and again and again, over and over and over, right here at 59. And it always lines up with these bottom and top numbers. And it's just, you just have to watch it and kind of keep an eye on it. But as we go through this, guys, you know, and let this run in the room, you'll start learning it. I want you to learn it because one of these days we're going to bring it out and let people use it. You know, have like a little small subscription fee or something, and you can use it every day. Just put it in there live and have a live room on its own. You know what I mean? Or just have it up in a room. But right now, we'll probably test it for a while, guys. So once I can bring it up and let you guys test it for a while, we might just leave it up free for everybody to use, especially in the room. Because the room is where, if you guys think about it, there's like 25, 30, 40, 50 people in this room every day, right? Those 50 people are here because they want to do trading. They want to learn trading. They like to be around trading, and they can be in the room and the lessons and the teachings. You guys are the ones that are setting yourself up for the perfect trading. You're going to be a good trader. It's the ones who don't want to listen that are out there still losing money that won't come into these rooms to save their life because of ego. You know, you can't have that mindset in trading that you know it all, because nobody does. None of us. And there is no holy grail. And I told Becky this. I remember we had that interview, Becky, back in the past, and I told you about the holy grail. Who is the holy grail, guys? You
It's
are the
yourself.
holy grail.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Your mindset is the holy grail. You're it. Um, you want to be a big time trader, you got to do big boy shit. So you gotta
You got to own it. You got to make the choices to change who you are in order to be the most successful trader that you can be. And by facing the things you're not doing right and owning them and fixing them, that's how you
Yep.
change.
I really think it's part of learning, and I think you can do it. And I mean, I would like to see everybody do it for a living, but you know, not everybody can do it. We know that. But the people that are in this room, I think I have a lot of respect for you because you're trying and you're going to make it because you have that mindset of being in here listening. You have the mindset of going to the classes, and that right there is a good start, a very good start. I had zero mentor. I'm self-taught, but I drove myself
I think
crazy.
that's
Like,
such a key component. I mean, I think the people that are still here on the live stream, like all of them are here because they're going to be successful traders or already are because they show up for the work. But I think engaging in these conversations, listening to people who are other successful traders, I think that is a game changer in your whole experience because you're the type of person that shows up to figure out how to get better. And so that right there is like major.
you know, it's like I told my guys a long time ago. You know, if I had a warehouse and I put 100 screens in a warehouse and brought in 100 traders a day, and everybody just came in there and hung out together and traded together. You know how successful that would be, right? Because
Yeah.
but it can be the same way in a trade room like this. You can make things work. It's just you got to have the right people. We have the right people for trading. We have some really good people here that know what they're doing.
Hmm. Right. So use those resources. Like this is such a gift to have this community just be free and available. Like it's a tremendous resource.
It really is. I wish I'd have had it when I started.
Right.
All I had was Riddick and stock twits. Didn't do very much good.
Well, look what you built.
Yeah, we have some great traders in the community. I really think we do. And I'm looking for those traders that want to last in long term and that I can give 100 grand to and say, hey, trade this for me as a company. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who can hold their accounts, make money, that can actually give them money out of the company and say, look, you now are working for this company as a trader. Here, what can you do with this? Show what you
Mike,
can do.
I am so telling the Richard Dennis turtle trading story because what you just said is exactly the Richard Dennis turtle trading story.
Exactly. Yep. I
It's
know it very well.
it's a fabulous story of new traders overcoming difficulty in an environment that was impossible for new traders to learn. It was the first time in modern history where people without Wall Street experience were taught how to trade and ended up being successful traders. It
Mhm.
was the number one thing that set forth the retail trading movement that is at this point dominating against hedge funds and Wall Street. Retail is a legitimate part of the market analysis now, and you can honestly go all the way back to 1978 to 1982 when Richard Dennis cut his teeth trading in the commodity space and decided to take an article, an advertisement in the Wall Street Journal saying, "I am willing to teach people how to trade the Richard Dennis system. You just have to have zero trading experience." And what people don't understand about the Richard Dennis turtle trader story is it was a bet between Richard Dennis
Yeah.
and his trading partner.
Yep.
And the trading partner was from Wall Street, and he felt like people were dumb. They didn't understand risk. They didn't understand money. They didn't understand anything. And if new traders were to come in and trade the Wall Street way, they were going to get obliterated by Wall Street. And what Richard Dennis said is, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm going to prove my point. And he went out there and he proved his point. And the 12 original turtle traders went on to do absolutely amazing, great things. Richard Dennis started out with $1 million and turned it into $100 million in a 4-year time period trading in the commodity space. The
Yep.
turtle traders replicated that. New traders went on to create amazing situations, some of which ended up controlling multi-billion-dollar hedge funds. And
Yeah.
so it's a wonderful story. It's one that really should, get people like us, the retail side of the equation, excited about the ability about our opportunities in the financial world.
That's true. RQ for your answer to how do you plot those fibs? MotoWave automatically plots them for you. You just got to put the right settings on there. But if you ever have MotoWave, if anybody has MotoWave and you want to learn how to do it, let me know. I'll be glad to show you how to get them to come up on your screen so you can follow them all the time. But MotoWave's not cheap though. It's like $140 a month. Yeah, I have Trade Terminator on there too. It's funny that I don't have it on there right now, but it is on one of my other screens.
Ace, that's a good point. Like 40 years ago when the turtle traders became successful, all the advantages were at Wall Street. That's not the
Yep.
case any longer. We have the exact same advantages except one, really big one, and it's speed. We can
Yep.
come in and out of the market in lightning quick ways, whereas somebody like Warren Buffett, he can't just get out of his Coca-Cola position overnight.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
That's true too. But I tell all these traders, especially the new traders, just try to go in and start out every day like I did when I first started. $200. Get that $200 a day and just quit. And then do it for 3 months. Do it for like 90 days and then go to 400. Do it for 90 days, go to 500. Do it for 90 days, go to 600. I did that, guys. That's how I learned how to trade. I just took small little amounts. And those small little amounts just kept building and building. And then one time I was up to 30 grand off little trades. Of course, I lost 26,000 one day. Had to come back the next day, make 31. Thank you, Facebook, because that was Facebook. That was one of the Facebook days. Remember how we used to have had the earnings on Facebook and Amazon? We'd have Amazon one day and Facebook the next. So
Yeah.
I lost
Yeah.
26 grand one day and made 31 the next on Facebook's move.
We
That's
get
all.
it's the third week in earnings season. We typically get 4 of the Max 7, and it's
Yep.
it's all Tuesday through Thursday,
It's good
and it's
times too.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy volatile. It's a fun trading environment, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Volatility can be your friend or it can be the worst enemy you ever had in a
Yep.
market. And that's when a lot of firms don't like people trading in the volatile markets or news. Back in the day, guys, when these prop firms first came out, we all started trading them, trying to trade these prop firms. You remember, guys, they had no news trading. A lot of them had no news trading at all. They wouldn't let you for like 5 minutes after the market or whatever. But I guess that's kind of gone away. But it is a way to protect people's accounts. But that's totally up to you. If you want to trade the news, you can. We don't care if you trade the news, but I tell people a lot of times if you'll wait for that news run to be over and get that pullback is the best way to trade the news. Let it come all the way down, guys. Hit the pullback and go back up with it, or let it go up and come back down. There's always a secondary trade there.
I did a lab about 6 weeks ago on news-based trading, Mike, and that's exactly what I said. I was like, guys, back in the day, you would want to be aggressive on news. That's not the case any longer.
Nope,
You
I'll
want to
let it
let
go
the news
by.
play out.
Yeah, I'll let the first candle come way down, and I know it's going to hit a certain
Yep.
area, and I'll just take that long right there and I'll make it all right. I'll make just as much as they did or more on the move back up. All I do is
And you
just
won't
stack
have to stare at
contracts.
the chart wondering about the volatility and getting freaked out over the up and down of the P&L. Like you give it a good 15, 20 minutes after the news. It depends on the type of news, obviously, but yeah, it's all about secondary moves, secondary trends, because the news is going to create volatility, but it's typically seen as a catalyst.
Yep.
And so if the initial move is true, the secondary move is going to be in the same line, but it's going to be more consistent.
Yeah, and nowadays you got markets where the dip buying's crazy. Everybody's dip buying.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh
love
yeah.
the dip buying. So that's a whole different
DTFT, baby.
ballgame. But yeah, it's been a good day. Only dip
Yeah,
buy
you
on
only get
gold.
tick tips there, RQ though.
Yeah, yeah. What's that palladium? Don't dip buy palladium. Uh, Have you ever traded that, Matt?
I have. I've traded
Yeah,
both platinum and palladium.
I
Yeah.
tell you, man, I love trading it, but man, you got to be careful because boy,
Palladium will move 20 points, 20% and nothing.
yeah, either way, you can get murdered. But I tell you what, though, you can make a lot of money doing it.
The only problem I have with palladium and platinum is the ETFs are not very liquid, so you
Nope,
gotta work around it.
you got to work
That's why,
around all the time.
yeah, that's why I primarily focus on even like copper doesn't have a great ETF.
Uh,
FCX is kind of a proxy for it, but I trade silver and gold far more than platinum and palladium.
do you do you keep an eye on the VIX most of the day?
Um, I don't. It's not that I'm anti-VIX. I just I just have a philosophy that I kind of know where the VIX is.
That's
Um,
kind of me. Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I sometimes I'll watch it in the mornings. Like if I'm drinking my coffee and I got Bloomberg on, I'll watch see what the VIX is at. 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, if the VIX is down, the market's supposed to be going up. But a lot of times they tell you that, but it ain't the case. Like the
no,
VIX was down, the market's still coming down. This ain't making sense.
like
But
for me on the VIX, like I use the VIX from an options perspective. VIX low, typically buyers are dominating on the option side of the equation. You got an
yeah, they
edge on
are.
that side. When the VIX is high, options are fairly high priced, and so you probably shouldn't be a
Yeah,
net buyer. You should most likely be a net seller. And so,
yeah. The VIX
there's
is
certain levels on the VIX that I'll track like at 20, Mike. If the VIX is
yeah,
underneath 20, like that's just to me, that's kind of a low vol environment. Um, VIX gets above 20, you can see some pretty aggressive spikes, but I'll use it from an options perspective just to kind of make
mhm,
sure that I understand the environment. But I don't use it outside of that.
yeah. Those QQQs.
Dollar index. Dollar index is a major catalyst for me. I anchor on dollar analysis quite a bit on all of my projections.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What about the-
Blas. Miss you, buddy. How's my BFF doing, Blas? You doing okay? good to see you, brother.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up and jump out of here. I gotta get some things done for tomorrow, but I was gonna have a podcast today, guys, but my camera kind of messed up on me, so I'm fixing it. My live trade room, guys, is still in the works. All the equipment has come in for the trade room, so somewhere this month the trade room will be back up and running again. I will be back on at 9 o'clock in the mornings, 9 to 11, like I used to be. So I'm just letting you guys know. And then I haven't had a vacation this year, so we probably are going to take one somewhere, probably like, just maybe Tennessee or Arizona or somewhere in the States. But I'm thinking about doing some like live trading, like maybe Grand Canyon kind of thing. Have you guys doing some live trading with me outdoors kind of thing? I think as long as I don't get attacked by a grizzly bear on the screen, it'd be kind of
As
cool.
long as you get it on camera so that we can see the grizzly bear, Mike.
Yeah, it'd be kind of funny.
Got to see the grizzly bear.
I'm trading all of a sudden there goes a big grizzly bear.
We gotta spot one bear. We gotta see one bear somewhere.
Maybe I'll go to I go to Montana down by the chair. What's that called? The Sioux Nation down there at the bottom of the mountain, where you can pet that real grizzly. You can go pay $5
yeah.
and pet it. Yeah, I've been there. It's kind of cool. He's huge. I don't know
Well,
if he's still there or not, but
whenever
back
you
there.
do take that first vacation this year, Mike, it is well deserved, and we will keep the lights on and produce great content while you're gone.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But I told my wife though, when we go on vacation, I want to kind of do some trading for different places, different where place people are at, like maybe Texas,
It's really
Arizona.
cool.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Because that's the beauty about trading is you can trade anywhere.
That's right. You can trade anywhere.
Yeah, and a good setting, a scenic view has got to bring good juju.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I would like to go out here and, trade on the ocean in the boat, but I haven't figured that one out yet. Every time I take my laptop, it's like, okay, our internet connection is gone.
Yeah. That would make me nervous. I need solid internet.
Now, that'd be a good place for me to do trades though, because I always have like 4 poles in the water, you know. That's really kind of cool, especially if you get a big old grouper or something, you know.
Good energy.
I got in trouble on an airplane one time because I yelled at my screen for lagging. I was in a trade and I couldn't tell to stop. And so I yelled at my computer, kind of just like I was in my room, right? And everybody looked at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, sorry. My bad, guys. My bad. Just trades going on.
That's funny. I mean, I did a trade one time on the Southwest flight. The guy beside me is like, "What are you doing?" Taking a trade, man. It was like, what?
It honestly does create some really fun, compelling conversations on a long flight. Like
Yeah,
it does.
it
And
does.
then they're looking over your shoulder at the candles. What does that mean? Is that good for you?
Now, are you watching
Yeah.
Earthquakes again?
Weird
Funny
flight
though,
planner.
I turn on my flight simulator on my computer during my flight. Hilarious. You got Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's hilarious. You're like, what? That really blows their mind. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna run. Had a great day, and we've had a really good session today.
Fun
We should
hanging
do-
out today, team.
Yeah, thank you again for having me. And it's always enjoyable having conversations with you guys. I'm really glad that I got to hang out with you today.
Becky,
Yep.
that was fantastic today. Well done.
Great work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And thanks you
absolutely.
for everybody being here.
All right,
We'll do it again
team.
tomorrow.
We will rinse and repeat tomorrow. Everybody have a
Oh.
wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Riz, why don't you take us out?
Absolutely. And thank you guys for coming in and hanging with me the evening session. So don't forget, you guys can catch us bright and early tomorrow in the pre-market session with all the good info and the lowdown in the overnight. Because believe me, I think we'll be in for a fantastic overnight. Can't wait to talk to you again tomorrow, Coach Matt. Don't forget about our fantastic sales. We got $49 and $59 sales. We got that giveaway going on. And like I said, gang, don't forget to check our socials, X, Instagram, but because we got some great promotions coming out. So if you guys don't catch that, shame on you. Until next time, and as always, good luck in the market, team.
We'll see you tomorrow,
everybody.
team.
Bye, guys.